A virus that turns humans into monsters in just 12 seconds and that spread so rapidly that it brought the entire world to its knees in a matter of days. Now the number of these, musical, zombies became so large that it was impossible to fight them. When the armies were defeated and the weapons ran out, a wall was built which was the last hope of humanity. But when even this wall could not stop the sea of these zombies, then all the hope was on our Tiki Gerry Lane, who found a unique way to fight this death, and now the whole world has put its strength to take him to his destination. This is the story of the movie World War Z. The terror began the day Gerry was driving into town with his wife Karen and their 2 daughters. There is a lot of traffic on the roads today and the entire roads are packed with vehicles. Gerry notices that there's suddenly been an increase in military helicopter activity in the sky. Then suddenly a policeman comes by on his motorcycle and breaks Gerry's car mirror. Gerry gets out of the car and tries to stop him. But then there is a huge explosion on the other corner of the street. People abandon their vehicles and start running like crazy amidst the dust and smoke. Gerry tries to turn his car around. But then a huge truck comes by, crushing everything. The big truck keeps clearing the road and Gerry takes advantage of the opportunity to drive his car behind it. But after going some distance, the truck collides with a car parked on the road and overturns. In the chaos, Gerry's car also collides with an ambulance coming from the side. Gerry gets his entire family out of the car. But the scene outside is quite terrifying. There is chaos all around. Gerry notices that people who were normal people just minutes ago are now attacking each other like wild animals. A man is lying on the road and another man is attacking him like a ferocious animal. Gerry notices a very subtle thing here. He sees the man who was bitten fall on the road and writhe in pain. His body shook like an electric shock and his pupils went completely white. Gerry realizes that this is a deadly virus that takes over a person's nervous system in just 12 seconds. He uses a vehicle parked on the road to break through the crowd. A zombie attacks their car. Karen kicks the zombie down. Gerry moves forward, crushing the zombies, and they manage to escape. In a matter of minutes, the entire city is now filled with zombies. The army has also brought helicopters there. But it is no longer possible to control this terror. On the way out of town, his daughter has an asthma attack. He tells his daughter that first we will go to a pharmacy and get your medicines. Just then, Gerry gets a call from his old friend Theory, who is the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. Theory tells him that the situation is worse than thought. Cities like Washington, London and Moscow are also burning in this fire. Theory tells Gerry that he will send an extraction team to rescue him. But for this to happen, Gerry must somehow remain safe through the night. A few hours later, Gerry arrives in New Jersey City. This city is also completely in flames and there is chaos all around here too. There, Gerry stops at a pharmacy. While Gerry is there looking for drugs, a guy pulls a gun on Gerry. But after seeing Gerry's daughter, he lowers his gun and also gives her medicines. As Gerry is returning, he sees 2 monsters attacking his wife. He raises his rifle and tells them not to do it. But instead of stopping, he starts firing. To save himself, Gerry also returns fire and kills one of them. Karen runs over to Gerry. Just then a policeman arrives there. Gerry thinks the cop has come for him. But actually, that cop also came to steal from the store. He realizes that law and order has completely collapsed. He calls his friend again. Theory has given him the location. A New York apartment block. Gerry arrives at the apartment building with his family. There a Mexican family gives them shelter in their home. They have a little boy named Thomas. Those people are very scared. Gerry explains to them that a helicopter is coming in the morning. He also asks those people to come with him. But the boy Thomas's parents are not ready to leave the house. The next morning, Gerry runs to the roof with his family. While they are going up, zombies attack them. Gerry plunges his knife into a zombie. But he still doesn't die and his blood goes into Gerry's mouth. Then Thomas shoots the zombie from behind. Gerry takes Thomas to the roof and stands on the wall. Gerry suspects that if the zombie's blood gets into his mouth, he might become one too, and if that happens, he will jump off the roof to keep his family safe. But Gerry doesn't become a zombie. Then a helicopter sent by his friend arrives there to save him. Gerry holds off the zombies coming onto the roof. Thomas's father has also now become a zombie. When everyone boards the helicopter, he also runs and reaches the helicopter. The zombies chase them and they jump off the roof to jump onto the helicopter. The helicopter leaves from there. Gerry sees the whole town is now a crematorium. Smoke is darkening the sky and the streets are no longer populated by humans but by an uncontrollable virus. The helicopter is now heading for the open ocean, leaving behind the burning streets of Philadelphia. They see a huge Navy ship. This ship is the safest place in the world right now because no one can swim in the water and it's miles away from any land border. Theory takes Gerry to a safe cabin. The view here is like a military headquarters. Ferry tells him that the situation has gone out of hand. The great nations of the world, whose armies were once considered invincible, have now surrendered. He talks about a very young virologist, Dr. Fosbach, who is working with the world's best scientists and doctors to find a solution to this disaster here. It is there that Gerry meets the military commander. The commander tells Gerry that space and resources on this ship are very limited. Only those people can be given shelter here who can help in some way in fighting this virus. Gerry is given an ultimatum. Either he rejoins duty as an investigator and finds the source of this virus, or he, Sungit, and his family will be sent back to a refugee camp on land. Gerry agrees to go on this suicide mission to save his family. Gerry leaves with Dr. Fosbach for Camp Fries, a military base in South Korea. The first radio message of this virus came from there. FSB believes that nature is very cunning and always hides its weakness behind its strength. If they can find patient zero, where it all started, they might be able to find a weakness in the virus and create a vaccine. When Gerry and his team arrive in South Korea, the entire military base is plunged into silence and the only sound to be heard is the rain. As they get off the plane, some shadows start moving rapidly towards them from the darkness. These were zombies. Chaos ensues. Then some soldiers come there and start firing. But Dr. Forsberg slips in his panic and his gun goes off in his hand, which kills him on the spot. The person who had the solution to this problem is no longer there. Those soldiers take Gerry inside their base. He meets some of the surviving soldiers who are hiding in that secure bunker. The commander of those soldiers tells Gerry how it all started. He explains that a local soldier started behaving strangely and while he was being treated he bit the doctor. By the time he controlled it, many of his other companions had also become zombies. Gerry also meets an agent there who is imprisoned there for treason. He explains that Israel had erected a massive wall around their country weeks before the virus spread. He tells Agent Gerry, if you want to know the truth, go to Jerusalem. They built the wall not just because they were scared but because they knew what was coming. Gerry now finds his next path. He tries to get back to the plane in the dark of night. Gerry uses a bicycle so there is no noise. But then Gerry's phone rings. Due to this noise, hundreds of sleeping zombies wake up simultaneously. The zombies come after them. Then the commander comes to their rescue with a truck and crushes the zombies. As Gerry approaches the plane, a zombie knocks him down. The commander shoots the zombie. But while saving Gerry, he gets bitten by a zombie. Gerry watches from the plane window as the commander shoots himself before becoming a zombie. Gerry and the pilot escape and head for Jerusalem. Gerry Lane's plane arrives in Israel. The city of Jerusalem looks like a wonder from the sky. Israel already appears fully prepared. A massive concrete wall stands around it, miles long and hundreds of feet high. Outside the wall, a sea of millions of zombies is visible, scratching at the wall like crazy. Gerry is escorted into the city by a military convoy. Meanwhile, Gerry meets Sagan, who takes him to the Israeli intelligence office, where Gerry meets Sargent. He asks her a direct question. How did you know about this disaster in advance? How did you build this wall overnight? Jürgen tells Gerry about the 10th man rule in Israel. He explains that Israel has suffered many betrayals throughout history. So they made a law. If 10 people are discussing an issue and 9 of them completely agree on the same thing, then it is the legal responsibility of the 10th person to think against them all. If everyone is saying there's no danger, then the 10th person will prepare believing there's a big danger. Jürgen was that very medicine man. When the world was ignoring the zombie messages coming from India as a joke, then Jürgen believed it to be true and Israel put all its strength into building this wall. Israel has completely sealed its borders. But they are allowing healthy refugees from all over the world to come in. The view inside the city is very nice. People from different religions and countries are celebrating together. They feel as if they have escaped the clutches of death. They are singing songs and saying prayers over loudspeakers. But Gerry senses something very wrong here. Zombies may not be able to see, but they have very keen hearing. This noise inside the city is driving the horde of zombies standing outside the walls crazy. All the millions of zombies standing outside the walls start climbing over each other. They use each other's bodies to form a giant human mountain. There are so many of them that they reach the top of that high wall in a few minutes. Gerry tells everyone to shut up. By that time it was too late. The zombies break through the wall and start falling into the city. The safe streets of Jerusalem become slaughterhouses in an instant. People are now running here and there to save their lives. The Israeli army retaliates. But the number of zombies is so large that bullets are falling short. Seeing the situation inside the city getting out of control, Sagan and some soldiers try to take Gerry to the airport. But zombies attack from every musical side. After they escape a little distance, a mob of mad zombies attacks from the other side. These people escape from there through a small door. A helicopter present there also gives them cover fire. Here Gerry notices something very strange. Amidst the chaos that is unfolding throughout the city, the zombies are not touching some people at all. He sees a very weak and skinny boy standing in the way of the zombies. But the zombies ignore him and move on. Sagan is bravely fighting the zombies. But then a zombie bites Sagan on the wrist. Gerry had observed that it only took 12 seconds for the infection to spread throughout the body. He takes Sagan's hand without a second thought. He cuts her wrist with a sword. Sagan screams in pain. But Gerry knows this is the only way to save her. He immediately bandages the wound and picks up Sagan and moves on. But the helicopter that came to pick them up is also shot down by the zombies. We see that all of Jerusalem is overrun with zombies. Fighting and escaping, Gerry and Sagan reach the airport. The pilot of the plane Gerry came in, runs away with the plane. There is another passenger plane there which is about to take off. This people stop that. Gerry climbs inside the plane with the injured Sagan. As the plane takes off from the runway, Gerry looks out the window. The city of Jerusalem is now completely overrun by zombies. He still doesn't have the answer to the question of how to stop this destruction. Gerry gives Sagan a drink to ease his pain. While he's bandaging her up, Sagan tells her she's no longer useful. Hearing this, he starts thinking that even the virus needs a healthy body to spread. He keeps thinking about the sick boy and the frail old man who were abandoned by the zombies. Does this virus also have any weakness? Gerry realizes that every hunter needs a healthy prey. If the prey is already bad or sick, the hunter leaves it. Gerry is now convinced that he needs to go to a lab and test his theory. He calls Theory and asks about the selected places in the world where research is still going on. Theory tells him about a secret lab in the Wales. Gerry tells the pilot this and tells him to go there. The pilot agrees to go there. After a while, a strange sound comes from the rear cabin. An air hostess pulls back the curtain and finds a zombie. The zombie attacks the hostess. Gerry senses something is wrong, and when he checks the rear cabin, he finds that they have become zombies and are preying on the passengers one by one. Gerry tells the people in his cabin to stay quiet and tells everyone to get their stuff and block the way. Gerry tries with all his might to build a wall out of the passenger suitcases and luggage to keep the zombies from coming forward. But their strength and numbers cause the wall to collapse and massacre begins there too. When a ferocious zombie lunges at Gerry, Sagan shoots it. Gerry realizes that the situation is no longer manageable and pulls the pin of a grenade he has with him and throws it against the wall of the plane. There is a loud explosion. The air pressure causes the air inside the plane to be pulled out, and with it all the zombies fly out through the hole into the air. The plane's engine fails and it begins to rapidly plummet toward the ground. The plane crashes into the hills. We see Gerry in the plane wreckage. He remains suspended in his seat. A sharp part of the plane is stuck in his stomach. He unbuckles his seatbelt and falls down. Then Sagan comes up from behind and Gerry is happy to see her. Both of them now leave for the lab. After walking miles, we reach the lab gate. Gerry gets there and faints from excessive bleeding. When he regains consciousness, he sees two people standing there and watching him. Actually, both of them are scientists. They ask Gerry what he is here to do. So he presents his entire theory to the head scientists at the lab. He says that we do not need medicine but a cover to fight the virus. He explains that these zombies do not prey on people who are already suffering from a serious or life-threatening illness. They only look for healthy humans. Gerry says that if we infect ourselves with a curable disease, we will become invisible to these creatures, and since they haven't found any other solution yet, the scientists agree to test the theory. But he explains that all the samples of dangerous diseases are kept in another part of the lab, Beaving, and Beaving is now completely overrun by zombies. There are some lab workers walking around as zombies. Gerry decides to go there himself. He sneaks in with Sagan and a scientist Pam. While he is moving forward, the scientist's pipe collides with a box. A zombie becomes active. When he is about to attack Gerry, then Sagan shoots him. The gunshot attracts the other zombies and they chase after the three of them. Those people start running away from there. Gerry then tells Sagan and the scientist to go back and goes to the sample lab. The zombies also go after him. On the other side, Sagan and the scientist also fight the zombies and run back to the safe area and close the door. Gerry carefully reaches the chamber where the disease viruses are kept. He fills a box with some random samples. But as he starts to leave, a zombie is standing there locking the door. Gerry doesn't have any weapons. He injects a sample into his arm to test his theory. He sits there for a while so that his body can get sick. Then Gerry opens the door to the lab. His theory proves correct. Zombie ignores him like he's not even there. Gerry locks the zombie in the lab and leaves. Now Gerry has full confidence in his theory. There are hundreds of zombies standing in the way, but none of them touch him and he comes back to the scientist without any fear among the zombies. He immediately treats Gerry. Now Gerry leaves from there to meet his family. All the people who were left in the world started getting injections for these diseases. Now humans were fighting instead of being afraid. The military now started killing zombies one by one. We see zombies being burned from the top of buildings somewhere. Somewhere they are being gathered in a big stadium and bombs are being dropped on them. Huge mountains made of zombie bodies are being burned. At the end of the film, Gerry returns to the area where his family was looking for him. He hugs his wife and daughters. Gerry says this isn't the end. We have just learned to save ourselves. There is still a victory to be won. Now we have to fight holding each other's hands. With this the story of the film ends.